This is Alex, and welcome to Barely Braided, where we're taking a deep, deep dive into foster care, adoption, and all things parenting, even the sticky stuff. And we're live.
Welcome back to our life.
Welcome back to our life after, a month and a half or more?
Yeah, we podcasted last when we were in Tulum.
Oh my goodness.
A lot has transpired since then.
I feel like we say that every time, but really a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Can you hear Maisie panting in your ears?
I hope. No, not in my ears, but so we don't really have a studio set up.
No. So Joel's the dog employee today.
Yeah.
He's got both dogs, and Maisie's like been a little bit weird ever since we got to South Dakota.
So you're
Spoiler
just gonna
alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. You're just gonna drop that now?
Yeah, she's been acting a little weird. But okay, so appropriately, we need to start with, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking some West River whiskey tonight.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. So you really like it. You're not just pretending?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's super cool. I'm drinking vodka with vitamin water. I think it's the acai blueberry pomegranate something, and I'll be honest, it tastes kind of like cough syrup. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. But I already poured it, so that's what we're dealing with tonight.
Fair enough. So we were in Mexico the last time that we podcasted, and did we tell the listeners that we had a date for TPR set?
Yeah, I think we did talk about the fact that we had a date, but before we get too far, I think I had a couple other things from Tulum travel that we didn't talk about.
Okay.
Yes, 3 things. So this is in addition to, if you plan to travel to Tulum or Mexico, here are our 3 travel tips that didn't make it to the last episode, okay?
Okay.
Number 1, everybody there uses WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
I don't know.
I don't think we did. So
if you don't use it, you will down there.
Yeah, everybody communicates text.
Seems to be that way out in a lot of countries too.
Yes. So I would just say download it before you get there and know how to use it, because the one thing it was really super helpful for us is we had a tour guide driver come pick us up where we were staying. And I don't really know how addresses work there. Like, is it like a normal US address kind of?
I don't even know. Because
it's weird. Our Airbnb that we stayed at, like, was not right on a road. Like, you had to walk down an alley.
Like 30 yards.
Where there were a bunch of, like, businesses. So the address conventions have to be a little bit different. Anyways, I sent our tour bus driver my location using WhatsApp, and that's how she found us. So tip number 1.
WhatsApp.
Tip number 2. Oh, this was kind of funny. Not funny. Before we got there, I had done a little bit of research and learned that they like you to use biodegradable sunscreen, or like reef-friendly sunscreen, right? So I'm like going all out. I ordered on Amazon a bunch of the like reef-friendly biodegradable sunscreens, and I'm like ready to go, feeling like I did my part.
And when we put it on, they looked at us like we had 3 eyes.
Not only that, but I got yelled at.
You got yelled at.
When we went on said tour, we were about to go on this like lazy river run thing. And so I'm putting on my sunscreen, and the woman is like, you can't wear that. You know, this will destroy the reefs. And I was like, but it's reef friendly. And she's like, yeah, no, that doesn't matter. She was like, try to wipe it off with your towel.
Yeah, she wasn't very friendly about it either.
No, not nice about it at all. So I guess what's our advice? Just, I did my research.
Get sunburnt.
No, don't get sunburnt. Just be cognizant that there may be places that you should not be wearing it.
Right.
And third, this has to do with if you rent a car, apparently it's very common to be pulled over by the police. And our tour bus driver even said she was pulled over by the police, and they were so corrupt that they tried to take her car. Well,
and she's a Mexican citizen.
Yeah.
Like, she's a local.
Yeah. And so that really scares me, because like, what if they tried to take you to jail if you didn't comply?
Yeah.
What would you do?
Give them what they want, probably.
Money?
Probably, yeah.
How much?
They'll usually take you for whatever you got in your pockets.
Oof. That's really scary.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah, that's scary. All right. Well, those are the 3 straggler tips I had from Tulum. So you take it away after that.
So after we got home from Tulum, we started packing to get ready to move out here to South Dakota. Mm-hmm. And I think it was April 12th. We attended the termination of parental rights hearing for Ari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about that because I know a lot of people had questions. They're not really sure how a TPR goes, and
we weren't either.
Yeah, we didn't know until we got there. So
frankly, we're still kind of learning.
Yes,
things.
but we've attended the TPR,
Right.
so we know kind of what it looks like. So we got there, and the GAL was waiting outside, and she was like, "Oh man, I haven't seen you guys in a long time." And I'm like, "Yeah, like my entire life. I've never."
We had seen her
you.
on some Zoom conferences.
Oh yeah. Yep. So she was there. Casa was there, who we'd met before. Who else was there? Oh, the
DCS attorney. Yep. And the Casa supervisor. Mm-hmm. And Ari's caseworker.
Yes, who showed up very late, by the way. So we were just basically kind of like waiting around on her. And then we finally...
And they went and called for the bio parents too.
Yeah.
They
made a loud announcement.
Yeah. The bailiff went out and did that.
Mm-hmm. And yes, so we were the only people that were there. Mm-hmm. And then the first thing they did, I feel like, is... Well, they asked everybody who would be testifying to stand up and raise their right hand and do that whole thing. But I was a little confused because I was not testifying. We had decided earlier that
You
Joel
stood up anyway, though.
Yeah, I didn't know because at first I didn't. And then...
It was confusing.
Yeah, and then the judge like kind of looked at me like I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And then when I stood up, my coin purse fell over and all my pesos fell all over the court pews. So that was embarrassing.
I forgot about that. That's funny.
So then I like raised my right hand and vowed to tell the truth.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth, even though you weren't testifying.
Yeah. So then they first called up her caseworker and asked her a million questions. So the questions were asked by the DCS attorney. And I feel like it was things like, what services were the parents assigned? Which ones did they attend? Which ones did they show up to? Which ones did they not? Like just all of
when
the
was the last time did they visit? Mm-hmm. Things of that nature. And we'll preface this all with not only did they not have representation there for them, the bio parents that is, they didn't show up either. Neither of them did.
Yeah. So and I feel like that's probably kind of rare. Like I feel like in most cases at least an attorney would show up, right?
I don't know. I guess I don't know what's normal and what's not. So literally, if you're looking at a courtroom, much like a wedding, you know, the bride's parent, family, and friends sit on one side, grooms on the other. Same way within the court, you know, you get a side, and there was 0 people, not even an attorney, sitting on
the other side.
On their side, yeah.
The other thing I noticed, I thought it was funny that there was Tennessee volunteers regalia everywhere.
Vanderbilt.
Or yeah, that's right. Vanderbilt. That's right.
I think the judge went there.
So
they can decorate their courtrooms.
So that judge is always in that courtroom? Mm-hmm. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't know that. So then after that, Joel got up.
No, Ari's caseworker was testifying.
Yeah, but after that, I mean.
Yep.
Yep. After she testified, you got up and testified. What kind of questions do you remember her asking?
Oh man, the only ones I really remember are like they asked me if the parents had completed any services, if they made any effort to see her.
When's the last time we had like a call or a video?
Yep. And then they asked if I loved her.
I remember that. What did you answer?
I said, yeah, I guess enough to get her face tattooed on my arm.
Yeah, the whole courtroom started laughing. And then the judge said, should I even ask where?
Yeah. It was kind of a lighthearted moment in the seriousness, but
yep. And then
for the record, it's on my upper left tricep.
Yeah, and then I think they gave Casa the opportunity to testify. However,
she submitted a letter.
Yeah, she had written a report.
And if we back up to the beginning of before any experts, because I'm certainly not an expert, before any of the witnesses were called, they did enter like 20 exhibits.
Oh, yeah. That's
like the
right.
birth certificate, the social security card, all that sort of stuff. So everything was documented.
Yeah. And then I also remember they went over each of the grounds of termination. So
There was a lot.
there were a lot
I
of
want
them.
to say there was 9.
Yeah, that could be right. But
Abuse and neglect, and
like if there's like a severe abuse charge,
right, if they made an effort,
abandonment, all those things. But it's very weird because I always thought that like once you had one set of grounds for TPR, that's when they filed it. However, it seems like they
it seemed like they
list.
like they piled it on to make sure that it was kind of an airtight, yes, and black and white case, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah, I always thought like after one, they're like, okay, here we are, good to go, which is really interesting. And then after that, I think the judge just basically said like,
It was surprisingly longer than I expected too.
yeah, the judge was very long-winded at the end. I feel like she kind of said the same thing over and over and over again. Like she went over all of the grounds. She kind of like decided that she agreed with each of them and why. And then
At the end, she said,
yes.
based on all of this, I am granting the termination. But they don't sign it that day, so it's not legal that day. Even though
Right.
they made their decision, for some reason they don't sign it that day. And I don't get that. It's weird to me, but
I also think in other counties, sometimes they do sign it that day.
they could, yeah.
Yeah, and then I also didn't realize it's not enforced when she signs it. It's enforced
Right.
when they file it.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize. And then, at least in Tennessee, there's the 30-day appeal period from when it's filed,
Yeah. So I think it was, do I remember right? It was filed on the 25th.
the 27th.
We got it on the 27th, but it's dated the 25th.
No, she signed it on the 25th. It was filed on the 27th. We got it on the 27th.
10-4. Okay. See,
So-
this is all confusing.
Yeah, it is.
There's so many technicalities in these cases, that it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So then what was interesting to me is we started talking to CASA afterwards, and they basically said, okay, we kind of have one of two options. Either we just kind of wait it out, the appeal period, and if the parents don't appeal, we can file to adopt in Tennessee, or we can have DCS in Tennessee request ICPC to South Dakota, basically transfer our case over to South Dakota, but then we would have to adopt in South Dakota. And
Right.
we were like, it kind of seems like a lot less work to just wait it out and file.
But they had
in
already
Tennessee.
given us permission back in, was it January, late January, early February?
to move.
to move.
Yeah. So then I emailed our attorney and just said, hey, the TPR has happened. This is what's happening. And she responded and said, actually, you can't file to adopt in Tennessee unless you're a Tennessee resident.
Yeah. So we're kind of stuck in the middle of a lot of different things right now. We don't, because they were supposed to have a CFTM, child and family team meeting, where we all get together and meet with the third party agency called Harmony that handles the adoption part.
Yeah. So we're kind of stuck. Like,
We're kind of stuck. And meanwhile, the week of Ari's TPR, we were packed up and
ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that was interesting too, because we packed up the day before, and then the couple days after the TPR, we had stayed in an Airbnb with the kids because our house was all packed up and we didn't have like beds or furniture or anything.
And Grandpa and Grandma flew down to help us come back.
Yes. So it was a lot. It has been a whirlwind.
Yeah, it really has. And when we got here, well, let's talk about the way home. So Tom and I left Nashville at like 5 a.m. on Thursday morning.
No, let's talk about the fact that I needed to save the day loading my car up onto the trailer.
Oh yeah. So we had the U-Haul filled up, and we had our car hauler behind the U-Haul, a 26-foot U-Haul. We had it behind, and I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention or what, but I had to crawl out the window after I loaded the car because I couldn't get the car door open because of the fenders. Well, long story short, I didn't realize that the fenders, you could take them off and flip them down until I got to Sioux Falls, South Dakota the next day.
So instead,
we had Alex, nimble little Alex, get in the car and
climb in through the window.
Climb in through the window, roll the window up, pull the car back onto the trailer, and then crawl out the back hatch.
While the vehicle was loaded with all kinds of breakable things that I had to crawl from the front of the car all the way to the back of the car. By golly, you did a really
good job.
It was definitely an experience, and I'll tell you what, I was not excited to drive my car up onto that thing because the little stilts that you drive on are so thin.
Those are called ramps.
Stilts, I prefer, actually.
Okay. So Tom and I left at 5 a.m.
And don't forget, you had the dogs and the cat.
Yeah. So I have this 26-foot U-Haul with Alex's Telluride on the back of a trailer. And then I have Bristol, our 5-pound Min Pin Chihuahua, and Maisie, our 25 to 30-pound...
medium-sized.
She's medium-sized. She's a medium-sized dog. Boston Lab, they call her, whatever she is. And then we had Fat Cat Jazzy Kitty.
What breed is she?
Fat.
That's not a breed. Fat is not a breed.
Fat and old. I mean, if I was calling her anything, I'd call her Jamaican because she has dreads.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so Jazzy is less agile than she used to be, and
her belly hangs on the floor when she walks. She's a mopper.
She can't reach her back to lick it and clean it, so she develops these dreadlocks on her back.
Yeah, it's gross. Anyway, so we get on the road at 5 a.m. We really had a good run, but there was 55-mile-an-hour winds when we were about to go through Iowa. So we cut through Missouri, through Kansas City, up through Omaha to Sioux Falls, and we ended up staying the night in Sioux Falls.
Wait, let me pick up there. You pause while you're in Sioux Falls, because let me pick up on my side of the story to meet you there.
Well, I was going to go to the next day at the gas station.
Okay.
Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Alex and her mom stayed in the Airbnb another night and then had her friend Nikki come down and drive everybody to the airport at what was it, 4 a.m.?
It was like 4 in the morning. It was super early.
Yeah. And Tom and I got up in Sioux Falls and had a cup of coffee, and all we really had to do was drive literally across the street, fuel up the U-Haul in my pickup truck because he was following in the pickup. And the entrance to the freeway was no more than 40 yards. So as I'm pulling out of the parking lot...
Now let me pick up.
Yes.
Okay. So Wednesday night and Thursday night, me, my mom, and the kids stayed in the Airbnb. And honestly, all day Thursday, we were so bored.
Because you couldn't leave.
We couldn't leave. We didn't have cars. We didn't have groceries. We
literally
seats, had nothing.
You DoorDashed the heck out of things.
We DoorDashed like 6 times. And so Friday morning, Nikki came to pick us up, and she drove us to the airport at like the early of days. And keep in mind, I had to wake the kids up at like 2:33 in the morning in order to get us there so early. So we get there, and our flight out of Nashville is delayed like a couple hours. And they let us know that because of this, we were not going to make our layover from Minneapolis to Rapid City. So we're like freaking out, trying to get on another flight. They're like, there are no other flights. We literally cannot book you on anything else. And I'm like, how can that possibly be? So we probably spent 30, 40 minutes or longer going back and forth with them until we finally decided that we could get to Sioux Falls, South Dakota that day, which was like a 6-hour drive from where we needed to be.
Yeah.
So we decided we'll go ahead and do that. We took the tickets to Rapid City, to Sioux Falls, but then we were like, once we get to Sioux Falls, we're going to have to rent a car and car seats. Well,
so Alex calls me, and brilliant Joel, I'm tooting my own horn here, says, well, you can't rent a car because they're not going to have car seats. But we're 2 miles away from the airport. I just about got on the freeway. Why don't I unload your car off the trailer? Tom and I can drive it over to the airport, park it in short-term parking. You guys pick it up, drive to Deadwood.
Because the car seats were still in my car.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't bring this up at the time, but I'm going to bring it up now. You were like, yeah, I didn't install the car seats because it was too cold.
Yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I have been traveling since 3 a.m. with 2 toddlers.
Yeah, it was probably a poor decision on my part.
Yeah, I would have appreciated if you would have installed the car seats.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Anyways,
I crapped the bed on that one.
I'm not going to lie, it was an awful day of travel. It was
I mean, it wasn't
awful.
bad in all fairness, Tom and I really, other than the 55 mile an hour winds going from Kansas City to Sioux Falls, like directly across from us, our drive the whole way, the whole 18 hours went without a hitch.
Yeah.
It really did.
And I'm glad because I was kind of worried about that. Also, they lost my bag.
Yeah.
And also, the last like 2 miles driving back to the house, Ari vomited all over herself
Yes, she
and
did.
all over her car seat. That was just the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So,
But we're here.
We're here. We've started to unpack most of our boxes. Like most of our important stuff that we need to live is like unpacked and put away.
We
and-
haven't fought too much
No, we haven't
through this
fought too
whole
much.
stressful situation.
Yeah, I'm telling you, moving 2 adults, 2 children, and 3 animals across the country is not easy.
Yeah. Just glad we didn't have a partridge in a pear tree.
There's probably one of those in a box somewhere too.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's also really been nice because Grandma and Grandpa have been a huge help.
My mom and dad were here like like an hour after Tom and I got to town.
They were here helping, so they
They were here for about a week.
Ted was really good at he helped us move boxes and actually move things, and then Vicky took many hours with the kids so that we could get things unpacked. So it was really
And Grandpa
nice.
Tom and Grandma Julie were awesome too. They helped us from start to finish, so it was pretty rad.
Yeah, they also took a lot of the burden off of the cooking of the meals.
Yeah.
I feel like they had dinners made and stuff like that, all 4 of the grandparents. So it was really
Grandpa
nice to
Ted
help.
made his famous quiche.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
nice. They helped us get all settled in, and then they went about their merry old Iowanian way.
Yeah, we're definitely blessed to have 2 sets of awesome grandparents that help us take the load off. So it's this whole adoption part now, right? It's kind of, I don't know if I would call it weird, but we're kind of stuck in this limbo where, okay, are we gonna be able to? Because the day that we were in court, they told us you can adopt her in South Dakota or you can adopt her here in Tennessee. And they said it'll be easier to do it in Tennessee. And they knew that we were moving 2 days later.
Oh, yeah.
And they still told us that it was okay.
Well, and CASA also kind of alluded to the fact that Tennessee may want to get this case off their plate because, and I mean, I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but they obviously have a lot of cases and not very many caseworkers.
Yeah. And
Oh
this
my
and this
gosh.
case has gone on for 2.5 years too long.
I forgot to tell you too, I spoke with our foster parent support worker the other day, and she said that they only have 3 foster parent support workers in all the county.
What?
Yeah, that's what she told me. Maybe I misunderstood or something, but I'm fairly certain it was her. It was Daisy, who was
Our foster.
our first foster
Yep.
daughter's caseworker. And then the third was a lady that typically does ICPC, but has to take regular Davidson County cases because they're so overwhelmed.
Wow.
Maybe I misunderstood, but I'm pretty sure that's what she said.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's crazy. So anyways,
It's been on the news. It was on the news a lot about foster care when we were getting ready to leave.
yeah.
About the lack of, there was one of the news channels, I want to say it was Channel 5 in Nashville, was doing a report on the lack of caseworkers within DCS.
Yeah. So
So we don't
What's
know
next?
where we're going to adopt, when we're going to adopt.
No.
We've been here since, what day did we get here?
I don't know.
I think April 20th.
No. If her TPR was the 12th, it was the 15th or 16th.
Okay.
Something like that.
We haven't heard from anybody since then.
Other than the
Other
foster
than
parent
your
support worker.
right? Other than
We'll see. I
Are.
mean, so the other thing is I did complete the Tennessee required training.
Trainings,
Just in case. So I don't know. I mean, if they tell us we have to adopt in South Dakota, or if we have to get our license switched over to South Dakota and do the home study and the training and what
at this point, it's just hoops to jump through. You know,
yeah. If we have to do it, we'll
we
do
have
it.
to do it. Yeah.
But I feel like,
But we will not do it straight faced. We're going to go kicking and screaming.
no, that's not true.
You're right.
We're going to do it happily.
Yeah, we just wanted this to get over and kind of.
I'll be honest, I'm a lot more laid back now that the TPR's done. I feel
Yeah.
kind of like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Well, the TPR is done, and she's living in 1,200 miles away with us. So
Yeah, I will say, I don't really know like how much I should say of this, but I do wish that we could maintain a relationship with her biological family. And I don't think we should really talk about like where we are or where we've been in regards to that. But I wish that, like, I don't want her when she gets older to be like, quote unquote, searching for her birth family. Like,
Right.
I would rather,
have a relationship with them
yeah,
now.
send them photos
Sure.
and, let them know how she's doing. I really wish that could be the case. But we do have a relationship with her little brother, her little biological brother, and his foster family. So,
And Brooks has a relationship with his biological family.
yes, who, by the way, Brooks's biological grandma made a blanket for Ari that she said she was putting in the mail, which is pretty
That's
cute.
super cool.
Yeah.
She's really good at making those too, because that's Brooks's favorite blanket.
Of all the blankets we own, that's the
favorite.
one that he like really clings to.
Yep, blanking.
Blankin. That's Blankin.
It's blanking. So we've arrived here in South Dakota, and we were greeted like 5 days after we got here with literally 2 feet of snow and 55-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, there's still snow on the ground.
I'm
It's
6
almost
foot.
May.
I'm 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", whatever. I probably shrunk, but when I was clearing from the house to the garage, it's about 20 yards, and most of the snow drift was over my waist.
That's crazy.
It was like about my belly button.
I do not like that.
No, you know what? But it's all gone. It's literally a week today, and it's all gone.
No, there's some still on the ground.
Barely.
It's white and I see it on the ground.
There's where it was drifted a little bit,
Yeah, it's gross.
but it's not that bad. But
It's
it
bad.
was kind of screwed up. We got greeted with a crap sandwich.
Yes, I'm really hoping that like once the warm weather comes about, then it just kind of sticks around for a while. And I
It
think
snowed
gonna be
last
nice.
night.
What?
We got about an inch of snow last night too.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Oh, the cool
I don't
thing,
mind the snow. It's just the brutally cold that I don't like. And we don't really get a lot of that here. A little bit, not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot, baby girl, just a little bit.
Even though it's been like kind of stormy and gross, we've done a lot of things.
We've
Notably-
really gotten out and done a lot of things since we've been here.
Yes, notably, we did an Easter egg hunt the first weekend we were here.
We did. That was really fun. They did a great job. The local Salvation Army, and I think the Elks Club
Okay.
in the city of Deadwood.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. Also, the kids' first trip to Taco John's, which is a big deal. That's like a rite of passage in our family. And I did notice that as we were walking out, there was a lady that was like, looked at Ari and she was like, oh, she's so cute. And then she was like, oh, yeah, that little boy's cute too.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
We've noticed a little bit of that out here already.
I think we're going to run into that quite a bit, which is, I love that she's getting positive attention, but it's very unequal.
Right.
And I think what it is it's people's attempt to try to prove like, hey, this is how not racist I am because I'm going to comment on, the one
I
black
think-
child in your family.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have a point there.
It's not bad intentions, but
Bless your heart.
yeah, it's not bad intent. It's, I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to figure out how to deal with that. It's
Yeah.
just something that we'll have to figure out.
But you were at the park with them while I was at work the other day. And didn't you say that you saw a family that you thought maybe a foster family that had a couple of Native kids and an African American child and a couple white kids?
Yeah, it was a family with probably like 5 or 6 kids, and they all looked to be of different races. And I noticed that the little girl, she said, like, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my... So, yeah, that led me to believe it was either like a foster or adoptive family. And I didn't really talk to them too much, but I'm sure the town is so small, we're going to see them again, I'm sure.
1,270.
Yeah.
But it was bustling today.
Yeah.
It was good. So
Yes, it was.
we're just kind of getting settled in, and I feel like we're kind of settled already since we have spent significant amounts of time in this house previously. Mm-hmm. You know, when we were here over Christmas, it felt like home.
Yeah.
So, and now we've got a lot of our couches and stuff from Nashville. And
Do you want to know my favorite part about this house?
sure,
The gym.
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, we made like a little tiny room. We put horse stall mats down on the ground and then
Almost exactly like what the rubber mats you'd see in the gym.
yes, and had 2 big mirrors installed, and I bought a Peloton. Okay, listen.
Peloton tread.
Yeah, a treadmill, yeah. I did not think I would go down the Peloton rabbit hole like you see people do.
Yeah.
I am down that rabbit hole. Done.
Listen, this girl over here works from home, right? And so she can kind of go down there when it fits into her schedule. So what does she do? She finds a plexiglass top to put on top of the treadmill so that she can work and walk at the same time. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
several days last week, I had like hour-long meetings where I just had to listen. Like I didn't really have to talk or interact. I was just like listening to presentations. So I just walked during those meetings, and I am really loving it. Like today's the first day I've taken off in working out in a long time. So
I've run on it a couple of times. And
do you like it?
I do, yeah. For me, because I'm big and I'm heavy, I have to make sure I run directly in the center. Otherwise, it wobbles a lot. But most treadmills are like that. But it is a very nice machine.
Yeah. So for any of our Peloton friends, my username is AA Ellis. So add me. What's your username?
THENINO 60. The Nino 60.
Oh, and then my mom made one. Hers is Julie Gammy.
Julie Gammy.
Julie Gammy. So add all of us. Let's be Peloton friends. I don't really know how.
I don't know how it works. I just get on it and use it.
I have heard that if you are working out at the same time as a Peloton friend, you can turn the cameras on and see each other.
Pass.
Well, but it's weird. Like, why would they go through all of the hassle to add a camera to this machine when it's like so rarely used? It seems like it's one of those things that like nobody ever
Overkill.
uses.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand, but it does a lot of cool things.
Yeah, it does. It's a cool machine for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then like I'll screencast onto the TV down there, and I'll do like the dumbbell workouts,
the HIIT workouts and stuff. Cool. Mm-hmm. I don't really do that, but we also just joined the rec center, so it's cool. I mean, that's pretty much a catch up of our life, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we should be better at podcasting more often, especially because like once the adoption happens, I'd really like to do something along the lines of like foster care review board or CASA, or be involved in foster care in like a different way.
Yep.
I'll be honest, like having 2 kids and working full time and like
Owning
it's
business.
owning
Yeah.
a business, owning rental properties, it's enough. I need a break.
We got stories coming for there too, hopefully one day.
Oh yeah. Yep. So what else?
But yeah, maybe one day we'll be open to hosting, fostering some
I think
kids
we
here in South Dakota.
I think we will, particularly older kids.
Yeah.
Maybe once our
Maybe
kids.
not the teenagers that they push on you so much because
I
of
guess
the
it just
significant need, but you know, maybe definitely older than what we have now.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a great week. And once again, thank you. I hope to Ruben, who's able to edit this podcast.
Hopefully this has provided a little insight into why we've been gone for a little while and trying to get settled and stuff like that.
But want to pick it back up.
Yeah, we want to pick it back up, and sometimes life just gets in the way, and it's
Life
hard to
gets
hard
in
to
the
find
way
a few
of
minutes.
living.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, have a good week, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.